There's a hairline scratch in the paint that it didn't come off with the white pad and Geon primer. So there's a couple things to talk about here with that. You could probably go, oh wow, poor Bill, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Or you go, wow, that guy absolutely does know what he's doing. So you pick a side, comment below, but here's where we're at with that. Here's my philosophy on that. Let's leave that hairline scratch in there. Let's not step up to the heavy compound. Let's not step up to the wool pad. Let's not step up to get the wet sanding out and show people that we can wet sand, because the Z06 is 829 miles on it. This is a heirloom vehicle. Let's leave as much paint on there as possible. Over the next 50, 60, 70 years, I can guarantee you the price of this vehicle that there's gonna be another scratch or two that's put in there. It's just inevitable. So let's leave all the paint up there so they can maximize the enjoyment of it. You're gonna be able to see that scratch in there? Well, if you're absolutely looking for it and you put your nose on there and you start looking for it. So those are the things we have to weigh out when we're doing paint correction. Yeah, we could knock and get 100% flawless paint here and knock every defect out, but what's the long-term effect of that? The long-term effect of it, if we knock too much paint off, guess what? You take this car out in the sun, you bakes in the sun, you get down to that UV protection layer, the UV additives that they put in the clear coat paint, that's when you start seeing the paint fail. So it's real important that you talk to your paint protection specialist and you talk to the guy that's gonna be buffing your car out, guy or gal, that's gonna be buffing your vehicle out, and ask them what are they gonna do. To arbitrarily just knocking a bunch of paint off there to get the scratch out, on this, no pun intended, on the surface it makes a lot of sense. Oh wow, that's great, they did a lot of work. But story time with Bill here. 2 years or so ago, we had a Ferrari, a 1998 Ferrari F550 Maranello come in. 2021-ish or so, do the math. So we're talking 23 years or so, the vehicle's old. There wasn't much we could do with that vehicle in terms of paint correction because everybody had ever got to that vehicle before hammered that paint. They just cut through it, they cut through it, they cut through it. So here's what I'm guessing happened, hypothetical, on that Ferrari paint. Car changes hands 4 or 5 different times. Every time it changes hands, or every time it changes hands, it gets into the dealer, they're gonna prep it for sale. So what do? They take the car to the back end of the dealership, they get out the wool pad, they get out the heavy cut compound, they cut down the paint, they cut down the paint, they cut down the paint, they cut down the paint 4 or 5 times to the point where there's no clear coat left. So as professionals, we had to stop back and say, listen, there's just no more we can do. We can do a very light polish. There's a bunch of defects on here, but that car legitimately at that point, its next step is to the body shop for a complete repaint. So let's set this brand new car up for success for a lifetime of, in 60, 70 years when this car's rolling down Barrett-Jackson or rolling down the auto auction, it can be a survivor. It's only new once. Let's do everything we can to keep it new once for 60, 70, 80, 90 years. So that's why we're gonna let some of those defects that are ever so slight, we're gonna let those go. That's a conversation we have with the client. We talk to the client ahead of time and we make sure, we need to understand what the client's objectives are on those things like that. And most clients, once they understand that we're preserving this car for the long term, they're okay with that. So look, if you're gonna try the paint correction at home and DIY, please don't start on your $150,000, $160,000 supercar. Go buy the equipment, watch the videos online, start least aggressive method possible, start with a light polish, light pad. But look, go find your neighbor's minivan, something like that that's 10, 12 years old. Get a feel for the machine, get a feel for the tool, get a feel, look. Here's the way I look at it. I could also cut my wife's hair and dye and color her hair and save $250. Am I gonna do that? Hell no. There's a professional she goes to. That lady has 20 years experience. She knows how to cut hair. She knows how to dye hair. It's kind of the same thing about your vehicle, right? You spend a lot of money on it. Don't cheap out on these vehicles. Find a professional, find somebody that knows what they're doing, find somebody that's passionate about their craft, and let them take care of you. That's my advice on that. We also have some full feature-length videos on a Tesla, on a couple pickup trucks. You can check those out on YouTube or check us out on our website at ImmaculatePaintProtection.com for the full feature-length videos.